And a little jab. Yeah, he had those cheap Nikes from Ross. And tell us his expression of, what? And he was doing that throughout the trial while people were testifying. That never works with a jury overreacting to things that are being, testified to under oath.
His courtroom demeanor did not do him any favors. Listen, as far as that witness goes, I will go to my grave with the same opinion. I don't think that should have been admitted. I know I'm wrong. I know the law allows it to be admitted. He called Crime Stoppers. I know that I'm wrong in my opinion on this. I want to preface it. With that being said, I will go to my graves thinking that witness should not have been allowed to testify in the way he testified. He was allowed to testify. That's why they brought in the Crime Stoppers call. But I think that they allowed him to go too far. It turned into gossip. It looked like that damn Tellis, by the way. Now, there was enough overwhelming evidence to damn Tellis, even if it wasn't for that witness. But I just felt like, man, what if it wasn't Tellis? I know it's Tellis. I know we're still allegedly saying it's Tellis. I'm fully convinced. I've looked at the case like everybody else. I'm fully convinced Tellis killed Gurman, right? But what if it wasn't him, right? And you have a witness testifying and saying it looked like Tellis. How are you going to unhear that as a jury? At that point, he was convinced. Let's just say he didn't have the DNA evidence under the fingernails of Gurman. Let's just say they did not find the straw hat. Let's just say none of that existed. But that witness was allowed to testify in that way. Tellis would be convicted. And let's just say there was none of the forensic evidence. Tellis would have been convicted. That's how damning that testimony was. It was very damning. Again, I know I'm wrong. I know that he should have been allowed to testify. If I was a judge on that case, I probably would have even allowed that testimony, knowing that this is going too far. I was hoping that I would have gotten an objection by the defense counsel. I probably would have sustained some of the objections. But the comment with the Nike and the plastic, and you'd wear cheap Nikes, that was not necessary. I don't think that should have been allowed in. But it was so damning. Yeah, but Draskevich, to his credit, dissected this witness well on cross-examination. He painted him out to be an opportunist who's trying to make money on the deaths of people in their estate sale. So he did kind of paint him to be, kind of a little bit of a fraudulent witness. But man, was that damning evidence. That testimony was just a dagger for Tellis.